Hey there, I'm Llewellyn Bissell, as you probably already know, and I want to welcome you to my channel of Surviving Abuse in Life, where I talk about, and hopefully you join in, where I talk about how I have survived abuse and how possibly it could help you. Now, remember, everything that I have done may not work for you, so please use your own discretion on these things. Before I go any further, I want to tell you that I'm not a professional. I am not a doctor, so I cannot prescribe medication, nor can I give diagnosis. I am not a counselor. I am not a therapist. And I'm definitely not perfect. But I am a child of God. And that is the most amazing thing in my life that I have. So tonight I want to talk to you about what did I say? The way we think about happiness is probably wrong, right? Now, why do I say that? Well, before I get into that, let me give you a little bit of background of my life to let you know what I mean by that. You see, when I was growing up as a little girl, my birth mother and her husband, my stepfather, were very abusive. I'm talking verbal, mental, screaming top of your lungs. And if I had a smile on my face or if I was a bouncy little girl and they saw that and they weren't happy, they would do everything they could to make me not happy. So at a young age, I learned to basically have a blank face. I learned to be quiet. I learned to stay away from them as much as possible because I learned that, or at least I thought I did. I learned that if they were happy, then I could be happy. If I'm happy and they're not, I can no longer be happy. So I had to rely on others to be happy. Doesn't sound good, does it? Yeah, no. So then, as a young adult at 18, I married a man and I had to rely on his happiness. If he was happy, I was happy and the house was happy. If he wasn't happy, no one was happy. I want to interrupt you for a minute and let you know that this is not my pajamas. Okay, just saying. It's just to keep me warm because this room is always closed because I'm seldom in here anymore. So I was cold. So please forgive me. Where was I? So I married this man and I had to rely on his feelings to determine how I felt. If he was happy, we all were happy. If he was sad, we all were sad. Or we left him alone if we could. And so I always realized, or I always thought that it was important that whomever you are with has to make you happy. But that's wrong. Why is that wrong? Well, it's because you're giving your power away to have them determine how you should feel. It's like someone telling you, you can't feel that. That's not how you're supposed to feel. You're supposed to feel blah, blah, blah. No, that's not how it works. So I was mad at God when I was younger. And I went to church as a young girl up until I got married to my first husband. Went to church and I was mad at God. Why would he leave me in this family to let me be abused? And I'm talking every which way from Sunday. I don't want to tell you all about it because I really don't think this right here is a place for it. But you can either buy my book on Amazon, which is Abuse It Is What It Is, or come and ask me. I'm more than happy to talk to you about it. But I was mad at God. I was like, God, if you truly love me, why am I in this family? This family that is so abusive, so mean. I swear they hate me. Why am I here? And I didn't have answers until after my first marriage ended. And I couldn't figure out why I was abused even through my first marriage. Why? What was it about me? Did I not deserve love? Did not deserve to be happy? What was it that made people just treat me like crap? So I thought, okay, I'm going to find a job that makes me happy. I'm going to find a place to live that makes me happy. I'm going to, whatever it is that makes me happy. No, That's wrong. Do not give your power away for other people to have you feel the way you want to feel. Um, After my first marriage ended, I bought some books at a Christian bookstore, what to expect before and after marriage, the 5 languages of love, um, how to be a single parent, things like that. And one of the things that I learned in reading all these things was that God just can't pick me up out of this family and put me over here into this loving family. It doesn't work that way. But what God can do for me, and I'm speaking for my personal experience, not for you to believe in God or not believe in God. I don't care. But for my higher power is God. That's mine. Whatever yours is, that's fine. I'm just for me. Um, so I had to remember that God can take the mess that I lived and turn it into a message, which is here I am, with the books I've written, which is becoming a life coach to help people, which is doing everything I possibly can to help people. Because how do you heal after emotional abuse? How do you heal after physical abuse and sexual abuse and verbal abuse and any kind of abuse? How do you heal? One of the first things I tell people, journal, write things down, get a visual of what's going on. It's important for you because then you can see where you started and date it. Always date it. Because once you date your journal, you can look back a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now and say, wow, look how far I've come. Or I can't remember I ever felt that way. Whatever it is. Next thing we have to learn, and yes, I'm still trying to learn this, we need to stop blaming ourselves. It's not that I'm not lovable. It's not that I don't deserve to be happy or I don't deserve to have a loving relationship and I don't deserve to have wonderful kids. It's not that. I have to accept the cards that were dealt to me. And then I have to play that hand in the best way possible I can so I can be happy for me. I can't make you happy any more than you can make me happy, right? It's very important for you to understand that your spouse and you should share happiness together. And yes, you can be happy together. If there is no sharing, you can't always say, well, he makes me happy or she makes me happy. It has to be a shared happiness, a shared life. And that can be with friends, that can be with family, that can be with spouses or significant others or whatever the case is. Any relationship has to have a sharing, caring, trusting relationship. So don't say that someone can make you happy, you know? And I did. When I was growing up, I really seriously thought that my parents had to make me happy, otherwise I couldn't be happy because otherwise the whole household was upset. When I was 15, I think it was, um, I wanted to kill myself. I felt that my stepfather passed away. He had died, and he kept telling me that he loved me when he was abusing me. And so it was, what is that word? I'm totally blank now. I'm sorry. But when you love your abuser, right? I cannot think of the name of it. I'm so sorry. Um, so if someone can remember it for me, please put it in there. I'll probably remember it when I go to bed tonight. But I thought I loved him. I thought that being intimate with someone was love. I thought that that was how you express love. You didn't have to say it anymore. Once you were intimate with that person, they loved you. No, that's wrong. And that can't create happiness. One of the things that I did learn is I would make a to-do list and I would have to put myself first on that list. It's like having a cookie jar. You bake all these cookies, you put them in the cookie jar, and you give them away, and you give it away, and you give it away, and finally it's empty. And then you have to make more. But what if you run out of ingredients? You can't make them. Or what if your electricity is shut off? You can't make them. So now that's empty. That's you being empty because you kept giving and giving and giving, and no one is giving back. And for me, that's how I lived for a long time, is I would always do stuff for other people and I wouldn't get anything back. You have a choice, and it's not going to be easy. You can choose to be happy with the things that you currently have. Maybe you don't have the neighbor's beautiful house, or your best friend's money, or the newest car on the block, or the newest cell phone that just came out. Maybe you don't have those things, but maybe you do have some things that are similar. You have a car. Excuse me, I need to turn that off. I don't want to hear it. May not be the best, but it's paid for, right? All my vehicles are paid for. They may not be the newest 2024, 25 vehicles, whatever the new thing is, Cadillac. I may not have a chauffeur driving me around. I know how to drive. I know how to get from A to B. We have to accept ourselves for who we are. And if we don't like us, don't expect others to. You have to make you happy, and I have to make me happy. Now, what are some ways to do that? Well, besides journaling, right? Other ways, maybe, just maybe, when you think about it and you process it. And for me, it's reading the Bible. Do you um, have a higher power that you can um, go to, that you can, I don't know, trust, or whatever it is? For me, again, it's God. And I'm not trying to throw God at anyone, but I'm just giving examples of what I believe. Um, but one of the things that you can do is, I call it cultivating happiness. It's like you're growing something. You are improving your mind or your manners, or you're developing them all over again, or whatever the case is, right? So, what exactly is happiness? What exactly, let me rephrase that. How would you describe happiness? What to you is being happy? Well, happiness is the state of being happy. It's a state of well being that encompasses living a good life. And happiness, it does begin with you. But what does well being mean? So glad you asked. Um, well being is the state of being comfortable, maybe happy, healthy. There's healthy, maybe having a good or satisfactory condition of just existing. But I don't want to just exist. Do you want to just exist? Because I don't want to just exist. I want changes to happen. Okay, and one of the things that we can do is we can evaluate our ethics. Now, what are ethics? Ethics are moral principles that govern a person's behavior or the conducting of an activity, right? So, for instance, attitude. Now, why do you think that attitude is an ethic? Because ethics describe the internal or external rules, logic, and procedures by which values are selected. So attitudes are generated based on those values and those actions and our behaviors, right? And generally, a positive attitude really increases productivity, no matter if it's at home and you're trying to do chores, or if it's at work or wherever it is, right? What's another ethic? How about honesty? You know, for me, honesty is like the number one. I would rather have you be honest with me so I know where I stand than to have you lie to me and me not trust you again. So to me, that offers a foundation of moral behavior. But that's just me. But honesty is an ethic. Honor. Do you have honor? Always doing the right thing no matter who's watching or if no one's watching. Honor's a good ethic to have. What about integrity? Now, integrity, yeah, I can't even talk now. Integrity represents how strong you adhere to the values that you support. So, where ethics come from? I'd like to share a few Bible scriptures here and tell you where I believe that they come from. So, Matthew 7:12. So, in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you. For this sums up the law and the prophets. Did you hear that? Do unto others. What an ethic that is, right? So, do you do that? Do you treat people the way that you want to be treated? Sometimes it's not easy. You know, it's the simple things like the 10 Commandments of the Bible, not to steal, not to lie, don't deceive one another, things like that. And then in Proverbs chapter 2, verse 7, it says, he holds success in store for the upright. He is a shield to those whose walk is blameless. So what this is saying is that God gives sound wisdom to the righteous, to those who do the right things. So a person who honors their character. Then there's Luke chapter 16, verse 9. I tell you, use worldly wealth to gain friends for yourselves, so that when it is gone, you'll be welcomed into eternal dwelling. Wow. These words of Jesus encourage us that integrity and consistency should be in our lives, right? At least I think so. Next Bible scripture is Titus chapter 2, verse 7. In everything, set them an example by doing what is good. In your teaching, show integrity, seriousness. And here it's telling us how to make ourselves an example of good works with integrity and dignity. And we teach that to everyone that's watching us, whether it's our children, our grandchildren, friends, neighbors. People watch. Then there is Psalm 119, verse 1. Blessed are those whose ways are blameless, who walk according to the law of the Lord. This encourages us to live a blameless life in God's law, because God is making it very clear in his word, the Bible, right? And especially here in Psalms, that blessing, happiness, fulfillment, satisfaction in your life, not mine, but in your life, can be found by meditating either in God's law, walking it, living it according to what he says, or in whatever higher power that you believe in. So that's a few of the ethics. Now, what are your ethics? Would you be kind enough to share that with me here? And let me name a few more ethics as you're thinking about this, because I didn't list all of them. I just gave you a few, but there's integrity, there's selflessness, there's honesty, loyalty, fairness, self-respect, just to list a few of those. What kind of ethics do you have? I'm just curious. The next thing you can do is also evaluate your morals. What is a moral? Again, I am so glad that you asked. So, a moral is a person's standards of behavior or beliefs concerning what is and is not acceptable for them to do. Like what? Well, like honesty. Honesty fits both ethics and morals. So, why is honesty important? It should be a great foundation for everyone. Integrity, same thing. You're going to find these in your ethics as well as in your morals. Respect is a good one for morals. Responsibility, be responsible for yourself, your words, your actions. Teach our children, our grandchildren, our friends and neighbors that we need to be responsible for ourselves. The other day, I witnessed two dogs getting hit in the road. The person pulled over briefly and then took off. Didn't stay. One dog limped home, and the other one did not limp away at all. He died. She died. It died. I don't even know if it was male or female. Take responsibility. Stop. Try to find out who the owner is. It was an accident. I witnessed the whole thing. The dogs ran out on the road, but it's not the point. Be responsible. So morals actually refer to what you believe to be right or wrong. Now, just because I said that, is that right or wrong for them? Every person has their own standard of beliefs and behaviors considering what is and what isn't acceptable for them to do. Judging them is probably one of the worst things I can do, or anyone for that matter. Right? So, again, I'm going to share some moral Bible scriptures with you. So please bear with me. And again, it's not just morals in the Bible. You can find morals anywhere. But this is just my examples to give to you. So it says in Romans chapter 12, verses 9 and 10, hate what is evil, cling to what is good. Be devoted to one another in love. Honor one another above yourselves. Wow. Listen to that. Cling to what is good. Do what's right no matter who's watching. Because in the end, you have to stick with yourself. The next one is in Mark chapter 12, verse 30. And it says, love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your mind, and with all your strength. Love. You know that saying that love makes the world go around? It really does. It helps a lot. And especially if you have anger issues like some people, no names mentioning, road rage. So we need to take care of ourselves and be responsible and just love one another. John chapter 8, verse 32, and it says, then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. So just tell the truth from the beginning. Just be honest. Don't hide it. Don't walk away from it or drive away from it, whatever the case is. Even James 1:21 says, get rid of all the moral filth and the evil and humbly accept the word planted in you, which can save you. Just do the right thing. Even in the Old Testament of Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 18, it says, do what's right and good in the Lord's sight so that it may go well with you and you may go in and take over the good land the Lord promised an oath to your ancestors, thrusting out all your enemies before you, as the Lord has said. Wow. So do what is right and good always. Maybe not for the God that I believe in. If you don't believe in God, that's fine. But always do what is right and good, so you can live easier with yourself, knowing that you've always done what you possibly could. Then there's going to be Proverbs chapter 4, verse 5, and it says, take hold of my words with all your heart. Keep my commands and you will live. Now, it's not saying you're going to live forever on earth. You might have to go to heaven or die and be raised up later, whatever you believe in. But get wisdom, get understanding. Do not forget my words or turn away from them. So it's saying to get wisdom at any cost, right? So what are your morals? What are your ethics? Would you share those with me in the comments if you feel comfortable? Um, Always telling the truth. Um, just the simple things like don't destroy somebody else's property. I don't care how mad you are. When my spouse and I, my first one, separated and divorced, I didn't destroy a thing. I didn't feel it was worth it. But he did. He took a baseball bat, to our car because he was mad that I left him. I had 3 kids. I had to sweep out the glass and that. I mean, it was horrible. What was he thinking? It could have done more damage to my children. But, anyways, don't destroy property. Have courage to always keep your promises. If you make a promise, keep your promise. Don't cheat, don't lie, and treat others how you want to be treated. No matter how mad you are, if someone's mad, do you want them to treat you horribly even though they're mad? And they may not be mad at you, but just mad in general. Just remember that. Always treat people the way you want to be treated, always. And if you can be dependable, be dependable. Be that person that they can turn to in time of need. So, then there's our worth. In Proverbs 31:10, it says that she is worth far more than rubies. You are very valuable. I believe it. I believe we all are. And I hope you believe it too. And most importantly, the greatest gift that God has ever given us is love. Because what does it says? And now these 3 remain. It's faith, hope, and love. And that's in 1 Corinthians 13:15, I want to say. But the greatest of these is love. So remember that. So let me explain to you what happiness is not. Happiness is not placed in things, places, or objects. Happiness is already inside of you. You can't buy happiness. People think, oh, if I have all this money, I'll be happy. You really can't buy happiness. It doesn't work that way. Happiness is a choice. You get to choose to be happy or not, because it's not currency. It's not objects. It's not, oh, I'm so happy I got the newest phone. It doesn't last that long because your happiness is going to get old if you're relying on objects, right? To me, happiness is when I rejoice in the Lord. What is happiness to you? So Psalms 118:24. I know I've used a lot of scripture tonight and I don't normally, but it's just been in my heart to do this. And I thought that I would share this with you. So Psalms 118:24 says, this is the day the Lord has made and I will rejoice and be glad in it. Do you know that song? This is the day that the Lord hath made, that the Lord hath made. We will rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. It goes on from there. But we have a choice to be happy. So happiness is when you live for this moment in time. Not tomorrow, not last week, not last year, but to be fully present in the moment that you are in, like right this second, right now. So what do I mean by being fully present in the moment? It means having your focus, your attention, your thoughts, feelings all fixed on the task at hand. So if you're speaking to somebody, right? Let's say you're going out to dinner. Oh, I love this analogy or example here, right? So let's say that you're going out to dinner with someone and you're sitting there and you're talking, they're talking to you and you're over here and you're Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Is that really giving your full attention? No, it's not. Focus on that person who's talking. Put your cell phones away. Turn them off. Have a person-to-person in-face conversation. You know, people feel that they should be multitasking. Please don't do it. Truly focus on someone when they're talking. Let them know that you're a good listener, that you've got a good shoulder, and that they're dependable to listen to you. Whether or not they give you good advice, as long as they listen, right? So happiness is when no one else, affirms yourself. Don't depend on others to make you happy. If you need to, put sticky notes around your mirror, your work area, maybe in your vehicle, um, whatever you need for being your true self. That's happiness. Happiness is when you let go of past hurts. And let me tell you that it's not easy to do. I don't know how many times I've had to journal it. I don't know how many times I can tell you that it just really sucks. And all you want to do is hold on to those grudges. You want to hold on to that feeling of hurt. But when you do, you lose out on the feeling of happiness. So let go. If you don't know how, journal, write down all the bad things that have happened. Get it out of your head. Go back in a couple of days, review it. Maybe write a letter to that friend that wrote that, yes, to yourself, but pretend it was a friend, right? And give great advice about how that they are amazing. They don't, the biggest thing I can tell you is they don't care. The people that have hurt you probably don't care. My ex didn't care. Oh, I didn't do that. I didn't say that. Gaslight me all the time. That's not how I said that. You took it wrong, right? Most importantly, no one can tell you how to feel. So you really hurt yourself most when you hold a grudge. 9 times out of 10, they don't care that they hurt you. And it only hurts you. I mean, it can also hurt those around you depending on how you act and react and, talk about it. So try and focus on the here and the now. Be happy with what you have and where you're at. That's like the best advice that I can give to anyone. Happiness to me is also doing things for other with no expectation of getting anything in return. For me, my oldest daughter has a friend that's pregnant, and her youngest is 9, and now she's pregnant. So big wow, right? And I crochet. And so I asked her, would you mind if I crocheted stuff for your baby, for your girls? Because she's got 2 other girls and she's having another girl. And she's like, oh, you don't have to. I know I don't have to, but I would like to, if you wouldn't mind having something crocheted. Because some people don't like crocheted things. They don't think it's new. They don't think it's worth anything. Ew, God, stuff like that. But I find that it brings me joy when they like what I make, whether it's a blanket, baby hat, baby booties, or maybe a stuffed toy, that I've crocheted. My youngest granddaughter, she's 9. And that's how my daughter and this woman who's pregnant got together because of our kids. And our granddaughter loves when I make her things, and she had me make her a sweater. So I crocheted her a sweater that she could wear around here. Because I was telling you that little girl always forgets her sweaters or coats at home. So I made her a sweater to wear around the house. Um, but I find that giving, helping others that I can, makes me happy, especially if I can bring a smile to their face. It's an amazing feeling. Maybe you should try it sometime. What kind of things make you happy? Giving, helping others, you know, and it makes me feel grateful that I can do things like that. So that's going to be another one of being happy. Happiness is being grateful. Count your blessings. Maybe you have a job that you can pay your bills. Maybe you have friends and family that you can hang out with and talk to that love you and that you love. Maybe you have a car that can take you back, and maybe you've got just a bicycle that takes you back and forth to work, or you take the bus. Some people can't even afford to take the bus and they have to walk. So be grateful. Start making a list of all the things that you can be grateful for that are blessings to have in your life. You know, um, maybe you're thankful just to be able to get on a computer and hear someone and go, "Oh my stars, I needed to hear that today." You never know. So, one of the best ways to turn a negative emotion into a positive one is to start thinking of everything that you appreciate. Talk about your life, your current situation, yourself, things, people that are around you in your life, or whatever is currently bothering you or stopping you from having a positive emotional thought process. Write it down. Where's that negativeness coming from? Right? And every time you write in your journal of all that you are grateful for or happy for in that day, is every day that you'll feel the power of a positive emotion. Try and do it at night before you fall asleep, because then you'll actually have more positives to actually think about and hopefully dream about, right? And when you wake up in the mornings, write in your journal of all the positive things that you can, that will give your brain a very positive, sustainable boost of joy. What kind of things do you want to do? That is positive in your life. So just start writing. What do you appreciate? What makes you smile? Children's laughters. Love hearing babies laugh. In First Thessalonians, it says in the New King James Version of chapter 5, verses 17 through 18, pray without ceasing, and everything give thanks, for this is the will of God and Jesus Christ for you. And this goes back to the beginning of how I talked about how important it is to journal. You need to write journaling down. You have to write it. Feel the power of emotions that return to you. Get that power back. Don't give your happiness away or any of that power that says, you tell me how I feel. Feel what you want to feel. It's okay to have negative feelings. It's okay. But don't just keep focusing on negative. Try and turn that around to a positive. So I have some questions for you. And there's no right or wrong answers, right? And if you put them in the comments, I would love to read them. So what are the circumstances and or things, maybe desires, that you believe will make you happy? What are the circumstances and or things, desires, that you believe will make you happy? Pause this as you think about that. Next question. Why do you believe that those circumstances will create happiness? What is it about those circumstances that you think will make you happy? Again, pause it as you think about it and write it down. And if you share it here in the comments, I would really appreciate it. And I will respond to you. Third question. Are any of the above influenced primarily by your society, friends, family, upbringing? If yes, which ones? And again, pause it. Thank God for the pause button, right? Being grateful. There we are. Be grateful for the pause button. You can pause it and go back. And then the last question, right? So that's the fourth question is, are your authentic desires different than any of the above? And if they are, and if that's so, what are they? Again, pause. Find out what, if you'd be kind enough to share those, I would love to hear what your answers are. So happiness is also being accountable. So don't judge others by what they do or don't do, as number one, is none of your business. And number two, just rely on your own ethics and morals, not others. Matthew 7, verses 1 and 2, don't judge. Judge not, lest you be judged yourselves, right? Don't do it. Happiness is being respectful. Treat others the way you want to be treated. Treat them with politeness, friendliness, kindness. Don't bully or say unkind words. Encourage others by showing kindness. Now, you may not like anyone or certain someone's, but it's always best to show kindness to them, because what you say or how you act will determine how others treat you as well. You know, I mean, you got to think about that. Happiness is being responsible. No, you're only answerable for your own actions, your own words, no one else's, right? And you can only justify your actions, but be responsible with them. Because believe it or not, there are people that are watching us and they know how we treat others and stuff. Remember that saying that life is 10% what happens to you and 90% to how you react to it? So how will you react? So I have a little joke, and it's got honey and bees on it, right? And it says, bees are happy just to make honey. So true happiness is an expression of what? That you matter. Whether it's at work or at home. Busy little bee that you are, right? You really do matter. And if you don't believe me, believe God, because he said in Genesis 1:26, God said, let us make man in our image according to our likeness. He loved us so much that he sent his son down here to die for our sins. You know, so true happiness really is an expression of your true self. So hold that power of your true self. Don't give it away. So now that you know of happiness and how to achieve it, can I share some more Bible scriptures with you? Just a few. John 16:24. And this is Jesus talking. It says, until now you have asked nothing in my name. Ask and you'll receive, that your joy may be full. You know, I believe that. And just because I may want a new Mercedes, I ain't going to get one. More than likely not. Doesn't mean I can't ask, and he will give me what I need, and only what I need. Proverbs 16:20 says, he who heeds the word wisely will find good, and whoever trusts in the Lord, happy is he. You know, even if you don't believe in God, just whatever your higher power is, whatever your higher beliefs are, be happy. Psalm 144:15 says, happy are the people who are in such a state. Happy are the people whose God is the Lord. Yeah. And then the last one is Philippians 4:4. It says, rejoice in the Lord always. Again, I will say rejoice. So find something that you can do, whether it's singing, playing an instrument. Do you love doing whatever hobby that you have? Maybe work is hard. Maybe your life is hard. But find some joy no matter where it is, because you matter. So there's 3 quotes I want to say to you. One is by Albert Schweitzer, and he says that example is not the main thing in influencing others. It is the only thing. So set a good example. Set a good example for those around you. Now, this is one of my favorite ones because my grandson loves Spider-Man, right? So the Green Goblin from Spider-Man even says, we are who we choose to be. So who are you choosing to be? And if you know Alice in Wonderland, the White Queen said, you cannot live your life to please others. The choice must be yours. So please choose happiness. Just don't rely on others to bring you that happiness. So I hope this has helped. I hope that you can find happiness within you with whatever circumstances you're in. I don't care if you're poor. I don't care if you're homeless. I don't care. Be happy. Find the happiness within. Like I said earlier, God took my mess and is turning it into a message that I can hopefully help others. So please leave me a comment, subscribe, like. Let me know what things you would like to know more about. Maybe it's about happiness. Did you like this video? Did this video help you at all? Did you learn anything at all? I'm here to help you because I didn't have help when I was being abused. When I left him, I didn't have help. So this is all on you. Find your happiness within you. I want to thank you for watching. And if you haven't already, please subscribe and like my channel. And I wish you a wonderful day, night, whatever it is. Thanks for watching.